And just notice like the products that you're doing, if it's horizontal and vertical, just a relationship with them. One thing that I implemented that I was really proud of recently was just teaching one of my employees this, specifically him with this vertical thinking. Because he has stuff, he's like, man, I am doing all of this editing and I don't know how I'm like going to do the amount of stuff that we all want to get done. And I was like, cool, that's up to you, man. You figure it out. He's like, and I was just challenging him, like, how are you going to do it? And he's like, well, I need more. When he was like, I want more money. And I'm like, okay, well, how are you going to get more money? Because he didn't specifically ask it from me, so I'm not going to give it to him unless he directly asked me for more money. And I'd probably say yes, but like he didn't directly ask me. He's like, I want to make more money. I said, how are you going to do it? He's like, oh, well, I'm thinking of just like outsourcing some of my time, do a little extra work on the weekends. And I said, absolutely not. I need you like on the front, like kicking ass in the business. Like there's no way that like outsource your time is like the most valuable thing that like I have for everything that we do. So how can you make more money? He's like, oh, I started thinking. I was like, started to push him through. And I was like, well, the business has got to make more money and you'll get paid more money, obviously. So how are you going to do that? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what you need is time. How are you going to do it? And he started thinking he couldn't like sort of switch over. So I gave him multiple different examples. Yeah, and I said, why don't you, because you can see the funds and everything in here, ask me for more money to outsource people that you control, build out your own team to save yourself more time. And if more content's getting done and we're getting more results and better things are happening, you'll get paid more, obviously. And he was like, oh my God, how come I didn't think about this? So he's already hired a VA and has it all working for him, and it's like a small amount out of our budget, which is perfectly fine. And he's like, I can get so much more done now. So in terms of vertical thinking, it's like, how can you then apply this to other people around you that you can help use? And then also when you're making decisions, if you are thinking about making more money, it's like maybe horizontal could be a real good one. So one thing that we want to do is like create a journal and like start putting a journal out that I'm not doing, other people in my team are doing, and then putting that in, scaling that out so we can have, make more money that way, and then bring people into here and we'll start managing that up. Does that all make sense? Yeah, it's cool. Hey, anyone get value out of that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah? That's cool.
I'm not sure if you said this at the beginning, sorry,
okay.
It's late, and you don't have to answer this, but I was just wondering, what is the most amount you've kind of generated?
In
money-wise?
So I did $500,000 a year last year. Yeah, first year of business.
Oh,
Yeah, I was really proud of that. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Thank you for asking.
On track to do more?
Yes. Yep. Currently on track for about 700 this year. So, but hopefully, yeah. Thank you. I'm excited. Second one, but hopefully more. So, but not really attached to the end outcome of that.
Do you have a goal for the year?
Yeah, I want to hit $1 million. Yeah, would love to hit $1 million just to get in that club. Because a lot of people that I work with do that in their businesses. So I feel like I want to relate to them in the situation of the stress, the money hold, everything else. Put myself in that position everywhere else because I'm helping them navigate this stuff. So it's like, how much can I sort of take on and apply to myself so that I can really help them in some of those situations? But a lot of the time, sometimes it's not anything to do with money when working. It's like relationships, or they're just finding fulfillment within inside themselves, which is more important because that's like motivation to move forward and go kick ass. And that's what I did. Like, when I was first started, when I first started within a year, I worked with two multimillionaires that were crushing it. So it was just like immediately I was just thrown into the den of working with them. So I got to like really understand their mindsets real early in, which is really cool.
Wait,
yep.
sorry,
Yeah.
When you first started coaching people who, your first client made millions,
yep.
Did that ever make you kind of be like, ooh, who am I to tell him?
Yes, with the self-worth thing. But at the second time, because I sat down before working with him, I got to know him. So we did like one-on-one, we got to chat to each other over coffee. I went to his house, we started talking, we were jamming out, we were creating things. I ran him through the structure of everything that we were going to do. And by the time I just got to talk to him on a human level, and personally know him in his heart and my own heart, I was like, oh God, this guy needs me so bad. Like so bad with everything that I've got. He's come in, all of this cash has come in and he's got no way of managing it. He also hasn't got like, one thing that was beneficial in uni and then working in government was seeing how money worked and how structures in corporate sections work, and he just hadn't had any of that. And then like it's all just his health and mindset and everything was like poof, no sleep, nothing. It was crazy. Yeah. We'll cut. Save your questions if you want to write them down. We'll cut that. You can ask them after. That's okay. She snuck in 2 1 there. So we're going to step into an exercise, right? And I had to, like last time I explained this really bad, so I'm going to try and explain this really clearly now. So reading this one out word for word. All right. So what we're going to do is you're going to find someone you don't know. You will sit across from each other with your knees touching, staring directly into each other's eyes. Yes, nice and uncomfortable. You will maintain eye contact the entire time while the other person is talking. We're going to take in turns talking. You have 3 minutes each, like 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how it goes, they'll be listening, to ask the other person your request, and you're going to be asking for either time, relationships, or money, whatever that is. And you will repeat this question multiple times for the entire 3 minutes. While the other person sits there, they're not allowed to make another sound. They can just nod when the other person wants to start again, because we want to get uncomfortable with a little bit of silence, which is cool. The person receiving is not making any sounds or any encouragements, so you're not allowed to say, yeah, keep going, whatever. You just got to stand there while the other person might be freaking out. I don't even know what I'm going to ask. I'm freaking out, so the same question over and over, right? And the role of the other person sitting there is to notice in the other person across from them when they actually sounded convincing, when they sounded true, or when they're like, oh, you did a really good job asking that question just then, like, that was awesome. Because the same person might be like, oh, can I have $100 million so I can smash ATMs all around the world? I was thinking, can I have $100 million so I can like create ATMs all around the world? It's like you asked at the same time. And notice that for that person the same way. And notice it with that person, because afterwards you have like a couple seconds to write down notes for them. Then we'll swap it over, and the other person will ask, they'll write down some notes, and then we'll share what happened. So I'd love it. Is that clear for everyone? Yeah. Nice. So Curtis, would you mind standing up just for a second? I was picking on you. So we're going to be like across from each other, really close. And I'm going to be asking, hey, can I please have XYZ, XYZ, XYZ? And you just nod. Hey, can I please have XYZ, 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 XYZ? Then you might change it up. Can I have this amount of money, bitch? And just try to notice what happens to the other person. They're not making any sort of responses. Cool? Stand up, find someone new, just grab your chairs, move your chairs around the room however you would like. Oh yeah. You got 1 minute to find a partner and get cranking. So just find your person, sit down. We won't start asking questions yet, I'll let you know when to start.